two most important causes of infant death in first 4 weeks of the life is neonatal asphyxia and sepsis. All doctors and nurses must acquire knowledge and skill of resuscitation in labor room. Demonstration of the skills as shown in the video will be very useful to the students in learning the ABC of resuscitation.
Dr. MMA Fareedi is the Professor and Head, Department of Pediatrics, University College of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. He did his post-graduation from Aligarh Muslim University and advanced training in neonatology from Sher-e-Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences and University of Illinois, USA.
The medical education has three components. The first is cognitive domain, which deals with the knowledge. The second is psychomotor domain, which deals with the acquisition of skills. And third is affective domain, which deals with the human approach and sincerity. In this program, we will show you how to acquire skills to carry out resuscitation of a newborn baby in the labor room. We will discuss today how a newborn baby to be resuscitated at birth. In fact, 90% newborn infants have a smooth transition from intrauterine life to extrauterine existence. However, 10% newborn baby requires some assistance at birth. About 1% of the newborn infants require extensive resuscitatory efforts, which includes bag and mask ventilation, chest compression, and medication. There are about 5 million deaths in the newborn period. 19% account for birth asphyxia, and therefore it is essential that before delivery all the arrangements are made in terms of the manpower requirement, the supply and the equipments, and the responsibility of a person to do what is required at the time of resuscitation. Ideally, the area which is known as baby area should have arrangement for a temperature management. The temperature generally be required for the newborn baby should be around 32 degrees centigrade. This temperature may be more if the baby is preterm and small. A newborn baby, one must realize, remains inside womb for 9 months and is all drenched in amniotic fluid. The temperature inside the uterus is 38 degrees centigrade.
The first step in neonatal resuscitation is the basic steps which have to be carried out in almost all babies after birth. The basic steps include maintenance of temperature, making the position, doing suction, giving titanic stimulation, and mopping the baby. After these steps, completed in 30 seconds, evaluation of the newborn is done, and this evaluation, decision, action cycle goes on in the entire neonatal resuscitation. The second step in the neonatal resuscitation is giving bag and mask ventilation or intermittent positive pressure ventilation. The third step in the neonatal resuscitation is chest compression. The fourth step is endotracheal intubations, and fifth step is giving medication. After the baby is received in a pre-warm linen, the baby is moved to the baby area and is kept under the warmer for further resuscitation.
Before the baby is received, we must switch on the warmer. We must set in this machine an air temperature of 32 degrees centigrade. The green here shows the set temperature and the red is showing the actual temperature, so that when the baby is received, this must have built up to 32 degrees centigrade. The trolley must have a half-inch mattress covered with autoclaved linen, so that we are maintaining a sterile atmosphere. The head of the baby is positioned on this side and it must be kept low, so we must use the positioning to bring down the head low. As soon as the baby is received, we must switch on the APGAR timer. This gives us a beep every 30 seconds to mind us of the passage of time and the importance to keep on observing and evaluating and taking the decisions as per the condition of the baby.
The baby position should be such that the neck is slightly extended. It should neither be too flexed nor too extended. The semi-extended neck position opens the airway of the baby. Sometimes when the baby is preterm, where comparatively the size of the head is more than the body, or if there is a big caput, in that situation this position may not be maintained, and therefore you may require a shoulder rod. The shoulder rod should be about a thickness of half an inch to 3/4 of an inch, and which should be kept under the shoulder of the baby so that the neck of the baby is kept in a slightly extended position. Another step would be to do a suction of the newborn baby. This mechanism also opens the airway by removing the secretions and the blood which is present in the mouth and the oral cavity. To do suction, various methods are available. There could be electric operated suction machine, it could be foot operated suction machine. Then we use several catheters of different sizes, but generally the size of the catheter should be about 10 French or more, and preferably they should have a thumb control. Now by having a thumb control, it is easier for a person to control the negative pressure which is generated by the machine. Ideally the pressure should not be more than 100 centimeter of water. The next step in the opening of the airway is endotracheal tubes. All sizes of endotracheal tube must be available. They must be straight with centimeter markings and a vocal cord guide. This vocal cord guide helps a person to measure the length of introduction of the endotracheal tube into the trachea of the newborn baby. For endotracheal intubation, you require a laryngoscope. Now this laryngoscope must be available, and it should be the straight blade. And all sizes of straight blade must be available, like a 0 number and 1 number. Sometimes a newborn baby may require an oral airway to be put into the mouth, and all sizes of oral airway should be available. Now these oral airway are required especially when the baby has bilateral choanal atresia, when both the nostrils are obstructed because of the congenital defect. The another important supply which you need is oxygen tube. Now this oxygen tube must be connected to the oxygen source. The oxygen source could be a central supply, or this could be an oxygen cylinder. But the oxygen supply must have a flow meter, because the rate of oxygen flow is 5 to 6 liters per minute, and therefore this is important that the flow meter is also in working condition. You may require a nasal prong. When after resuscitation, baby may still require oxygen, so baby is transported to the NICU with the nasal prongs on. Another supply which is important is NG tube. Now this nasogastric tube should be available in the labor room, which is required after you have given bag mask ventilation for more than 2 minutes. This is introduced after measuring the length of the tube on the face of the baby, and which is from the base of the nose to the tragus, and from tragus to the Xiphus sternum. The next important equipment is bag mask. The bag is of different sizes. They are the self-inflating bag. We call self-inflating because it inflates by itself. A self-inflating bag basically has 3 components. One is inlet. This inlet has one for the air, and the another one has for the oxygen. The next part is bag proper. This bag is made of acrylic in such a way that this can be autoclaved, or this can be cleaned or sterilized in chemicals. The another part of self-inflating bag is outlet. Now this outlet could be of different types, but the function of all of them is same. It has got a valve assembly, and there are 3 important valves. One valve is a pop-off valve or safety valve, which is always placed between the inspiratory valve and the bag prop. If more pressure given to the newborn baby, the lungs can burst, and this can cause pneumothorax. So in order to prevent that, this valve is provided, which opens when the pressure, inspiratory pressure, is more than 35 centimeter of water. Now how to check this valve is, you check the outlet and forcefully press over the bag. A hissing sound, or you can also see the movement of the valve. See, the another valve is inspirative valve. Now this inspirative valve one can appreciate by, when you squeeze it, you find there is a slit-like opening. A slit-like opening, when you press the or you squeeze the bag, you find that this valve opens, a fish-like mouth. One can see also by opening this outlet, and this is the inspirative valve. Allows only oxygen or the air to go to the baby. Another valve is expirative valve. Now, after you have checked the bag, this must be prepared before use. You see, the air has 21% oxygen. So in this position, oxygen pressure inside the bag is only 21%, which is not proper for resuscitation. So what you do, you attach oxygen. It flows 100% oxygen. There is a valve which is unidirectional valve. This allows air or oxygen to enter only when after squeezing it is released. This oxygen will not enter the bag, it will come out until unless you use this bag. So when you use this bag during inflation, the oxygen is sucked in and air is sucked in from here. Now in this situation, the oxygen concentration inside is only 40%. In order to increase the concentration of oxygen inside the bag, one need to attach oxygen reservoir. So when oxygen reservoir is attached and the oxygen flow is 5 to 6 liter per minute, then the oxygen start flowing inside the bag and bag starts inflating. So the oxygen is flowing from the cylinder or from the central source into the chamber, and from this chamber is coming back into the oxygen reservoir. The rest of the oxygen goes into the air. When you use this bag, then the bag will take oxygen from the oxygen inlet and oxygen from the oxygen reservoir. You see, this is deflated. So now the concentration inside the bag is 96 to 100%. How to make this bag ready? You attach an oxygen tube, you attach a reservoir, you open the oxygen source at a rate of 5 to 6 liter per minute, and then use it for 15 times. 15 times, so that the inside of air has gone out and this is filled with 100% oxygen. Then the next is you choose a mask. It is very important to choose a correct size mask. Now the mask could be of different sizes. This 0 number, 01, 1 number, because you require different sizes of baby, different sizes of mask. For a preterm baby you require a smaller mask, for a full-term baby you require a bigger mask. The important thing to remember is that when you apply the mask on the face of the baby, it must cover the upper part of the chin, the mouth and the nostrils, but spare the eyes. It's very important that if you use a bigger size mask, you may exert pressure on the eyes, which may injure the eye of the baby. If you use a shorter mask, shorter size mask, this may not cover the nostril, and the newborn baby is obligatory nasal breather. Baby breathe by nose only. The next is you may require the medication. Generally, 3 medicines must be available. One is adrenaline, which is available in our country 1:1000 dilution. Ideally for the newborn, you use 1:10,000 dilution, and therefore you need to dilute this, and to dilute this you require distilled water. So the distilled water should be available in the labor room. The next is saline. The saline is used for as a plasma expander. So this is another drug. After adrenaline, you require saline, which should also be available. The third drug which you need is soda bicarb. Now the soda bicarb should be available, and this again to be diluted before use. The dilution is 1:1. So you require distilled water for dilution. To administer this drug in the labor room is again a very a precise and difficult situation, because in a newborn baby, a small baby, is very difficult to put a IV line. So generally you give through an umbilical cannulation. For umbilical cannulation, you require an umbilical catheter. The umbilical catheter has centimeter markings, has an opening where you attach the syringe, and the another end is cannulated inside. Then you require all sizes of syringes. To load the drug from the ampule, you require needles. So these needles should also be available, and all sizes of needles, number 21, number 22 and 23 must be available. Some of the good machines, resuscitation machines, have facility for Apgar scoring, and a clock is there. So the soon the baby comes, the baby put under the warmer, and that clock may be made on, and therefore you need not to have a stopwatch separately that can be inbuilt in the resuscitation trolley.
Case 1. Uncomplicated delivery. The baby is to be handed over by the nurse who delivered the baby by keeping the head low. He has to assess the response of the baby to the birth. Now the health worker is looking at the baby to look for meconium staining, whether baby is crying, whether muscle tone is good, whether baby's gestation is term, whether color of the baby is pink. After the quick assessment, the baby is kept under the warmer. The position is made. Since this baby is preterm, you may require a shoulder roll, which is to be kept under the shoulder of the baby. This makes the airway open. And now he will quickly do a suction. It should always be the mouth first and then nostrils. It is important because if you do suction of the nose first, it may stimulate breathing and baby may aspirate the secretions which are present in the throat. After suction, the quick evaluation is made. Baby is crying. Nothing more is required. So baby is thoroughly mopped and the wet linen is removed. The baby is breathing. Heart rate is more than 100 per minute and the color of the baby is pink. This baby has had the best smooth transition from intrauterine life to extrauterine life, and this baby is now handed over to the mother. Case 2. Resuscitation involving meconium. Now we will demonstrate to you how a baby born with meconium staining is to be resuscitated in the labor room. The baby is put under the warmer, then a quick assessment is made, whether baby is limp or depressed or baby is active. This baby is depressed. This baby needs immediate endotracheal suction. Endotracheal suction is done by first intubation. For intubations, laryngoscope is used. An endotracheal tube of appropriate size is chosen. This baby is approximately 2 kilograms, so a tube of 3 internal diameter or 3 number is required. After intubation, the connector of the endotracheal tube is removed and the ET tube is connected with the suction catheter, and this endotracheal tube is used as a catheter. It is slowly withdrawn and pressure is exerted to 100 centimeters of water. By this procedure, if the meconium is present in the trachea, it is removed, and after that, a quick evaluation is done. And this evaluation, decision, action cycle goes on. Case 3. Resuscitation with bag and mask and 100% oxygen. The indications for bag and mask ventilation are 3. 1 is when the baby is not breathing or baby is gasping. The second indication is that the baby is breathing but the heart rate is less than 100 per minute. The third indication is that if baby, even after free flow oxygen, is cyanosed, the mask is applied in such a way that it is cupping the upper part of the chin, the mouth and the nostrils, sparing the eyes. And then a cycle of inspiration and expiration is conducted. When you squeeze, this is inspiration. When you leave it, 1, 2, expiration. Squeeze, inspiration, 1, 2, expiration. Squeeze, 1, 2, squeeze, 1, 2, inspiration, expiration. Inspiration, expiration. It is to be seen that the eyes of the bag and mask ventilator should be on the nipple of the baby. When you give the pressure, do check that the chest is moving. If the baby is still not breathing, if the heart rate is more than 60 per minute, then bag and mask ventilation is continued. If the baby require bag and mask ventilation for more than 2 minutes, decompressiate the stomach and NG tube is passed. After passing this to the mouth, the tube is fixed with leucoplast here and bag and mask ventilation is continued. Squeeze 1-2, squeeze 1-2. Other end of the tube is kept open so that it acts as a vent. Case 4. Resuscitation with positive pressure ventilation and chest compression. The chest compression is the third step of neonatal resuscitation. The chest compression indication is when the heart rate is less than 60 per minute, even after giving bag and mask ventilation for 30 seconds. The chest compression is actually given to maintain the blood circulation to the vital organs of the body. One method is two-finger method and the other is two-thumb method. If the chest of the baby is small, then one thumb can be kept over the other. The site of compression is 1 centimeter above the sophistranum. The pressure should be to compress 1/3 of the total width of the chest. First of all, by rolling the finger on the costal margin sophistranum reached 1 centimeter. Above sophistranum, a two-finger pulps are kept and a straight vertical angle made, and then compression started at the rate of 90 per minute. Say 1 and 2 and 3 and. So when you say 1, you compress. When you say and, it is relaxation. But make sure that we don't remove the fingers from the chest. Another method is two-thumb method. After locating the site, the torso of the baby is encircled between the palm of the worker and one thumb is kept over the other thumb, and then chest compression is given in the similar manner. Systole, diastole, systole, diastole. You may observe that he is pressuring only by the thumb and is not pressing the palm, otherwise one may injure the rib of the baby. The important thing to remember is chest compression and bag and mask ventilation should be given simultaneously.
1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and.
Case 5. Resuscitation with positive pressure ventilation, chest compression and medication. If the heart rate is still less than 60 per minute, then bag and mask ventilation is continued, chest compression is continued and medication also started. The first drug given would be adrenaline. Now the medication is given through the umbilical catheter. After locating the umbilical vein, a umbilical catheter of number 6 or 8, depending upon the size of the baby, is introduced into the umbilical vein till free flow of blood comes. Since the volume of the drug is only 1 to 2 milliliter per kilogram body weight, and the drug may remain in the catheter itself, and therefore, after giving the medication, this drug is flushed by using distilled water or nomoslane into the catheter. The adrenaline has an effect immediately. It is a chronotropic effect, and the heart rate goes beyond 100 per minute. This drug can be repeated every 3 to 5 minutes. After giving adrenaline, again assess the heart rate. If the heart rate is still less than 60, then bag and mask ventilation is continued, chest compression is continued, and plasma expander is given. The plasma expander used is saline. The dose of the saline is 10 to 20 cc per kilogram. And this saline is also administered through the same umbilical cannula. The drug is given slowly over a period of 5 to 10 minutes. Generally, after giving plasma expander, the baby's circulation improves. Baby's acidosis also gets controlled and baby starts showing improvement. After the administration of these drugs, the bag and mask ventilation, chest compression are continued till the baby's heart rate is more than 100 per minute and baby is spontaneously breathing. Sometimes, when the baby has still not started breathing and heart rate is still not improved, and it has already taken 5 minutes, then we expect that metabolic acidosis might have developed. And this is the situation when soda bicarb is given. The soda bicarb is given in 1:1 dilution, and this soda bicarb is also given through the same umbilical route, slowly. The important point to remember is that none of these steps are independently done. Bag and mask ventilation, chest compression, and drug administration are all given simultaneously, and therefore you require 3 people to do these steps and also a 4th person to keep the time. Now, after you see that the baby is spontaneously breathing, baby's heart rate is more than 100 per minute, at that stage, you see the color of the baby. The color is seen in the mouth of the baby, and you see the baby is pink.
We see now the heart rate of the baby has gone up more than 100 per minute. The baby is breathing spontaneously. Now this is the time to wean off this baby from resuscitatory efforts. The bag and mask ventilation, chest compression and medication, all the things have to stop, and this baby is to be given free flow oxygen.
His heart rate is more than 100 per minute. At that stage, you see the color of the baby. The color is seen in the mouth of the baby, and you see the baby is pink.
We see now the heart rate of the baby has gone up more than 100 per minute. The baby is breathing spontaneously. Now this is the time to wean off this baby from resuscitatory efforts. The bag and mask ventilation, chest compression and medication, all the things have to stop, and this baby is to be given free flow oxygen. The bag and mask ventilation was giving 100% oxygen. A free flow oxygen is given by again the oxygen tube. Oxygen is flowing at the rate of 5 to 6 liters per minute by hand, making a cup around the baby's mouth and the nose. It will be reduced to gradually to 80% to 40% and then atmospheric air. Now this baby is breathing normally. The heart rate is more than 100 per minute. The baby is pink, but there is some respiratory distress. So this baby will be shifted to an ICU, and this baby needs nasal prong oxygen administration. I am sure that after the task being accomplished with professionalism, this baby will be normal, will have a normal development later on, although this baby needs further management in the NICU.
Summary. Immediately after getting the baby in a pre-warm linen, assess the baby in few seconds. Check whether it is clear of meconium, breathing or crying, has good muscle tone, color is pink, and gestation is term. If yes, provide routine care. If no, within 30 seconds you warm the baby, position the baby, clear airway, dry and stimulate, and give oxygen. Then evaluate respiration, heart rate and color. If the baby is breathing, the heart rate is 100 per minute, the color is pink, provide supportive care. If apnea or heart rate is below 100 per minute, provide bag and mask ventilation or positive pressure ventilation. After ventilating, if the heart rate is 100 per minute, color is pink, provide ongoing care. After giving bag and mask ventilation for 30 seconds, if the heart rate is less than 60, then along with positive pressure ventilation, you need to start chest compression for the next 30 seconds and check the heart rate and do the evaluation. If the heart rate is still less than 60, then you start medication, first adrenaline, and then check the heart rate. If it is still less than 60, then you give saline as a plasma expander. Even after giving adrenaline and normal saline, and it is more than 5 minutes, if the heart rate is still less than 60, then you give soda bicarb. The important thing to remember is that the bag and mask ventilation, chest compression and medication should be given simultaneously.
As you see, successful resuscitation requires anticipation of perinatal asphyxia, availability of equipments, drugs and other supply before the birth of the baby, and presence of trained personnel at the time of delivery. All the steps of neonatal resuscitation are based on objective criteria and should be carried out according to evaluation, decision and action cycle, as you have seen in this demonstration.